time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Welcome to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new show this week. All kind of great stuff going on. And the market's heating up like crazy. We're getting to that seasonality where everyone's coming to town. School's about to get out, and we can feel it. We're seeing it online. We're seeing it here with people coming in town. And some great news overall. Brand new show this week. I was actually out of town at a real estate event last week, but I'm back in the studio and just have one goal, which is help serve you, give you more information for real estate here on the Grand Strand to help you make the absolute best decisions long term. The same thing we've been doing here, I think 14 plus years. And one main goal, give value to you. Hopefully, if we do, just share the show with someone else. If you ever want to come back and listen to the show, we always stream it on YouTube. Just search Sloan Realty Group or Blake Sloan Radio on Facebook under Sloan Realty Group. Also, my personal Facebook, if you want to follow me, LinkedIn, anywhere else. We want to make sure that you can come back and access that and also share it with everybody else. We have all kind of great stuff we'll talk about today. The brand new market numbers for the micro market. Last week, we talked about the macro market. Now we'll break down each zip code, what your area neighborhood selling for, and help you really see what's happening. So we saw some big swings. Some areas did very well. Some had a significant drop, 40+% drop in sales. For example, Myrtle Beach, we'll talk about what's happening there, what that means. Some big news in interest rates this past week. We just hit a 2-month high. The good news is it's not over 7% yet, which is good. And so we're still seeing a lot of people come in, but there's a lot of great stuff happening right now. Myrtle Beach named one of the best places to live in America. We'll talk about that and how that stacks up. And one of the main things they talked about was housing affordability. And we're seeing a lot of people flock here. We've been seeing people come from all across the country to us. Our team's been absolutely rock and roll. We have some amazing success stories, especially for a couple of sellers who couldn't get their property sold. They had it listed with someone else. And what we're finding is it's a much more difficult real estate market to navigate right now. A lot of chaos, a lot of people just getting very desperate in terms of agents out there, over-promising, under-delivering, and creating a lot of frustration. So we'll talk about that. Some amazing success stories. A property we actually bought, my fund that we own, bought a property for convenience and ease for the seller, gave them a very fair price, and they were very happy with that. So we have all that stuff we'll talk about in today's show for sure.
All right, a lot of stuff to get to. If you just tuned in for the very first time and you're not sure who you're listening to or what you're listening to, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, hosted by, of course, Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan has been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid. It's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realty magazine, and other national publications. You may have seen him on TV with NBC and also with Fox and Friends, the morning show. The personal endorsements here by Sean Hannity, also Barbara Corcoran, Gary LaVox. Put them all together. It's just totally unprecedented. Now, that's one thing. But the other thing is that Blake has trademark systems for both home sellers and home buyers. They are trademarked, so we can't give you all the details, but more than happy every week to tell you the most important part of that system.
Yes, and I made a promise a long time ago, just because it's by far the biggest problem I see and the biggest issues I see, the biggest heartbreaks and regrets I see come from consumers who just have this major mistake they make. And the mistake they make is thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be any further from the truth. Just like any waiter or waitress you have, any doctor, any lawyer, right? It has this one common thing, which is humans. And the reality is when you're dealing with your largest assets, real estate, right? The last thing you want is a human who's not very good at what they do, or who doesn't have attention to detail, or doesn't have the understanding of the nuances needed to give you a competitive advantage in the marketplace. What we find is, just like any doctor, any lawyer, right? You want the absolute best who specializes in that type. But for some reason, in real estate, they just go with the realtor that's referred to them, their friend that just got their license, the cheapest, whatever it is. But the reality is you want someone who's qualified, who's good at what they do, who can manage all those variables proactively to give you, the client, a competitive advantage. And so the same thing we talk about all the time. If I'm charged with a crime I did not commit, or a very bad crime that I didn't really think I did something wrong, the last thing I want some brand new attorney or part-time attorney who just does a couple of cases a year, right? I want the absolute best, most aggressive attorney who specializes in that type of law. And the last thing I want to look for is the most friendly, the one that's the most cheapest, right? I want the one who's the absolute best, who gives me an advantage in that process. And you just demand that same level of excellence for your largest assets, right? You want somebody who's good at what they do. And it's just like we talk about a lot, where if you go to a restaurant, Sometimes you have a great, fantastic experience based on that waiter or waitress, or sometimes you have a horrible experience. And so the last thing you want is that horrible experience with your largest assets. You want someone who has a track record of success, who has a proven, repeatable system, and can give you, the client, a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Because here's the thing, those small nuances add up to tens and tens of thousands of dollars on the back end. And we see week after week after week consumers who cost themselves 40, 50 plus $1,000 over and over and over without even knowing it. And sometimes they do know it, and obviously they're very, very upset about that. So don't be that person, right? Make sure you understand what are the right questions to ask an agent. How do I make sure I can pick the right agent? We talk about this all the time. People spend 20, 30 years building their hard-earned equity and 15 minutes picking an agent based on parameters that don't make any sense at all, right? So here's the deal. What I did is say, look, there's got to be a better way. What we found was there's a massive failure rate in terms of agents getting properties sold and getting them sold for the most amount of money. And so we sought out and said, look, how can we create a system that's proven, repeatable, that creates maximum leverage for our clients? And so we found that the single most important variable that determines your success or failure comes down to how does the agent actually execute. When you're selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, puts money in your pocket. Anything's handled incorrectly, guess what it does? It costs you your hard-earned equity, gets left on the table, and is not going to go with you in the next purchase. And so what we did is how do we design a system that we match up all those variables and we stack the dominoes to be in our client's favor on the back end? And it's exactly what we did. We manage it with two main things, because here's the reality. It's impossible for one single agent to manage all 118 different variables on one listing, much less 10 or 15 listings like many agents have. And so what happens is they drop the ball of service, they drop the ball of detail, they drop the ball of getting the most money, because they're just trying to get the property sold and move on to the next one. And that's why most agents just do the 3 Ps. They promise the world to get the listing, meaning they tell you anything and everything to get you a list with them. Then they take the property, take some cell phone photos, something else. And number 2, they put it into MLS, the multiple listing service. And 3, they sit back and pray that someone else brings a buyer. They may do an open house or so, which doesn't do anything. And the reality is you end up leaving money on the table because it wasn't presented properly to create the right amount of demand for the property. And so I sought out and said, look, how do we make this where we can have a team of specialists versus some generalist who's trying to do everything? And that's how it was when I first got in the business. I grew up in the business, whole family sold real estate, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma. And when I was at the big box store, Remax and Coldwell Banker, there was 200 plus agents. And guess what? They didn't care about me. I didn't care about them. If I got a new listing, the last thing they want to do is sell it. They were actually mad in many cases that I got the listing instead of them. And so they weren't even paying attention to what my listing was to help get it sold. And I thought, man, this business model is very, very broken. And so I sought out and said, how do we create a business model that's much better? And we looked at what businesses did outside of real estate and brought that into real estate. That's what got us featured in Forbes and Wall Street Journal. I said, how do we have this hybrid type model where we're a brokerage, but the brokerage is broken down and a team of specialists? And so we have a specialist, each person. We have buyer experts, we have seller experts, we have inside sales, we have outside sales, we have administrative team who make sure they execute every detail properly. We have full-time videographer, full-time photographer, full-time graphic designer, and all these people are designed to give you, the client, the competitive advantage in the marketplace. And you can see how having all that manpower and all those details being managed proactively can stack those dominoes in your favor. And what it does is it creates more demand for your property, and it helps properties sell faster and for more money. And that system I designed is called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. So well, it's exclusive to us here. I designed it. So obviously we protect that. It's fairly trademarked, and we license that out to other parts of the country. And it works very, very, very well. On the flip side, it's very difficult for buyers right now. And the last thing you want, some part-time agent who doesn't understand what they're doing. And most people don't even realize the average agent in our marketplace sells 4 homes a year. That's 1 per quarter. I wouldn't feel very comfortable, dealing with an attorney who's only had 4 cases really in the last year, or getting LASIK eye surgery from a doctor who's only done 4, right? I want the best, who's experienced, who understands the nuances, understands the marketplace. And so for buyers out there, we created this thing called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Gets you priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as home inspection to get you that closing table successfully. But both of those do one thing. The thing is they give you a competitive advantage. So I share that just for one main thing, to really spark your interest, to say, look, what if I could ask better questions? What if I could investigate and learn more about this and not just go with the old school model, the old school 8-track cassette tape, which most agents operate, and it doesn't get you the most amount of money. You want the new school iPad Pro, and that's exactly what we design. And so if you're thinking about selling, if you know anyone out there thinking about selling, guess what? You owe it to yourself to at least investigate it, learn a little bit more, because it'll absolutely blow your mind. Many agents that we show it to from other areas that have properties here, we show them and they've never seen anything like it. And so if you want to know more how it works, reach out, call me today. 843-808-SOLD, or go to blakesloan.com anytime. Submit your information. I'm more than happy to set some up to show it to you.
So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home right now, every detail means dollars, and who you hire to negotiate your home, that really matters. Hey, Sean Hannity here, and as an active investor who invests in real estate all across the great country of ours, I want the best negotiator representing my interests. I'm talking
After
about
these commercials, you'll be about 12 minutes in, so
they can
you've
help
got
you
Perfect.
navigate through multiple cash
15
offers,
minutes left.
and more importantly,
Perfect, thank you.
he has turned complicated situations into 5-star reviews. Now check out his rave reviews on Google. Talk to him yourself. If you are on trial with big money at stake, you would want a seasoned negotiator with thousands of victories if they will take you on and you can afford them, right? Well, your home deserves the best representation. Know your options, see how much demand your home can command in this market right now, and get the best representation that you deserve. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sellers, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers in a time crunch, you can agree to sell it by a certain date, pay cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
Use our proven marketing plan to sell it for the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot market alert. The market is definitely on fire right now for new properties going under contract. We're coming into that seasonality where everyone's coming in town, school's about to get out, and we're seeing that in two main places. Number one, online traffic from all over the country and even international looking here, looking to buy here, and also buyers who are coming in town right now buying. You can see that in the real-time data. And I find that most people just make the big mistake when they underprice their house or leave money on the table is their agent doesn't, number one, know, or number two, understand the data. And so what we do, since we have this show for so long, is subscribe to every possible data source on the planet. I want to make sure that obviously we have the best data to help break that down and help our client make the best decisions. And sometimes that means pushing the limit on what we can price a property for, right? We know exactly what we're doing. There's two types of data we look at. Number one, I call it the windshield data. It's like, hey, look, what's happening out the front windshield? What's happening real time? And I can see as I'm driving there and make good decisions. And that data is more real time. And so that's how many properties were under contract the last 7 days. That's what I really just kind of keep a pulse on what's happening real time. The other type of data is what most everyone uses, and it's the rear view mirror data. It's like what just closed last month. The problem with that is that if it closed last month, it went under contract 30 to 60 days prior to that. And so in some cases, you're using data that's 90 days old, a full quarter old. And so you may leave money on the table. And so we use a combination of both. That's why we share this on the show to help you understand, hey, what's the pulse? And here's the thing. The most recent pulse is up significantly. If you look at the last 7 days, 608 properties under contract, which is awesome. Anytime we're at 600 or more, it's rock and roll. And last week's show was 594, fairly close. You look at how much property went under contract the last 7 days. $224,036,653, which is a lot. Anything over 200 million is smoking hot. That's the target we run into in the last year of summer months. That means things are rolling. To give you a quick comparison, right? Last 7 days, 608 properties for 224 million. If you go back to January 6th of this year, 364 properties for 125 million. So $100 million difference in a 7-day period, which is significant, right? Almost double what it was back then. And that's why from a home seller, I want to really tee this up into the seasonality and make sure I'm taking advantage of when the hot buyers are in town and people are buying. We find that a lot of buyers will just seek and really kind of just search properties and stalk them for months and months and combine their vacation with their home search and actually purchase what they're down here. And so awesome news there. Inventory is very good. 832 homes for sale for single family resale homes right now in Horry County. Last week's show was 832. properties over $1 million in the last 7 days. 11 properties over $1 million versus last week's show, 21 properties over $1 million. We do see that fluctuate a little bit based on what's out there inventory wise. We have seen a big run on a lot of high-end homes the last couple of weeks. 99 properties over 500,000, which is great. This past 7 days, and last week's show was 91 properties over 500,000. So much better this week overall, which is good news. That's the overall windshield data. Into the overall regular market, looking at just the macro market for anyone that missed last week's show, sales year versus year for single-family resale homes down 34%, which is interesting, right? Very significant there. It peaked out last year in March, and that obviously followed into April. But look at April last year, 484 properties closed, 426 this year. So if you look at month versus month, of basically March versus April, down 12% overall in terms of month versus month. That's something that is really a reflection of when interest rates jump back above 7% in early March and also around February there. And so rates are back down. They've been in the mid sixes, which is good. That's why you're seeing things rock and roll right now. Overall, looking to sales price, we had a new record in average sale price this last month, $496,794, an all-time high for anything here on the Grand Strand. So anyone that's been worried about prices, right? Inventory has been so low, it's protecting price. There's just not that much out there available, and everyone's still relocating from other areas where Myrtle Beach is one of the most affordable metropolitan areas that people are searching for right now, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Overall, median sales price was down 5% year versus year at $346,750. The peak of last year was in May at $380. That's when everything started to change. Interest rates started rising rapidly in March of last year, and obviously those closed in May. And so interest rates right now, 6.82%. Last week's show was 6.58%. 15-year fixed rate right now, 6.19%. A 30-year jumbo loan, 6.5%. A 5-year adjust rate mortgage, 6.85%. A 30-year FHA, 6.45%. And the 30-year VA is 6.44%. And so hopefully stay where they're at. We'll kind of keep watching that. Anything below 7%, I think the market is still going to stay pretty good right now. We're seeing really an adjustment where a lot of buyers are just kind of getting used to that new normal, and they've hopped back off the fence. Hence why you saw 608 properties go under contract the last 7 days. Really quick, let's hop into some of the micro market numbers. Very interesting numbers. Bear with me on this because it's the hardest part to do on radio, but it's also what I get the most feedback on because everyone wants to know what's my area doing. And there's some big swings here overall. If you look at what's happening, Myrtle Beach area did very well. Year to date, sales are only down 5.9% from last year. And so if you compare year to date, right, which is really January to the end of April, only down 5.9% from the previous time last year. If you look at April versus April, only down 13.8%. Here's the crazy number. If you look at April versus April, prices in Myrtle Beach, 29577, 29572, up 25.2%, which is huge. Last year, 431,000. This year, 540,000. So significant difference there. Overall, look at year to date, prices are still up 17% year to date, which is amazing, from 409,000 to 482. And so that's a lot of extra equity for homeowners. And that's because the city of Myrtle Beach, the middle part, is just a very high demand area. It's close to the beach. Even we've had a lot of buyers who come here, they may buy more inland, then they want to move more towards the beach. And that's just a hot area right now overall. That we're seeing. Condo sales down pretty significant, down 32.6% year to date. Overall, April year versus year down 24%, but prices still holding pretty strong. Prices year to date up 7.4% at 218,000, which is awesome. Now, a flip side of that, right? We saw April sales up 25% for home price. Sales only down 5% year to date. If you look at North Myrtle Beach as a comparison, North Myrtle Beach year to date down 28% for sales. Which is interesting. Prices down 5.1% overall. If you look at April versus April in North Myrtle Beach, it's down 45%, which is crazy. Now, on the flip side of that, inventory of homes for sale is up 59%. Look at last April, there's 100 homes. This April, 159 homes. And so very interesting data there. And it's something that has to do with just there's all kind of different types of property, right? Some are inland, some are short-term rentals, some are primary residence. And so you always want to break that data down per neighborhood, which we do. We have software to do that for our clients. Into Little River, sales down 13.5% year to date. Prices, though, up, which is great news, up 3.3% overall. And they're taking 12% longer to sell. The average days on market until sale in Little River is 158 days. So that's why the realtor you need, the realtor you choose matters. They're still looking at 6 months there overall. Loris and Long, sales down year to date 25.7%. The good news, though, prices up 5.6% from 284 up to 300. The days on market, 163 days, up 26%. Again, that's why you want a realtor who's good at what they do. They understand you're not waiting 6 months, and some of those aren't selling right now. Overall, looking at Carolina Forest, sales are up. One of the few places sales are up significant, 4.6%, which is awesome. Prices year to date up 4.2% as well, from 422 to 440. So Carolina Forest is one of the hottest areas right now on the Grand Strand, which is great news. Soxy not doing too bad. Sales are up 0.3% year to date. Prices up 3.2% year to date, from 315 to 325. Great news. Surfside, where I grew up, sales down significantly. It mirrors Myrtle Beach very, very well, actually. Sales down 37% year to date, which is interesting, from 230 down to 145. Prices down 5.7% from 349 to 330. And again, there's different nuances there. It depends on what your property type is. It's grouping everything that 29575 zip code together, but it's interesting to watch and see how the comparison looks. Garden City, Merle's Inlet, down 31.5% for the amount of properties sold year to date. Overall, looking at prices, though, up 2.3% from 415 to 425. Pawleys Island, Litchfield area, interesting numbers here. Sales are down 32.7% year to date, but prices up 21.5%. Huge jump there from 522 to 635 just this year. We've sold a lot of high-end properties down there. And here's an interesting factor. Inventory is actually down there. One of the few areas in the Grand Strand with less inventory is down 1.6%. So last April, there were 64 properties for sale. This April, only 63. And so that's why you're seeing prices being protected. And even with less sales, you're seeing prices jump 21.5%. So if you're in that area, you have a lot of extra equity. You can probably cash out right now, get some great amount of equity extracted from that, and invest in something else. Georgetown area sales down 42%, but prices up 12.7% from 290 up to 327, which is awesome news there overall. And the days on market to sales up 13.6% right now, taking 161 days on average to sell in Georgetown. So I share that because the data use matters. If you're thinking about selling, right, take advantage of the seasonality right now. But year to date is performing very, very well based on certain areas that we're looking at. And so if you're thinking about selling, reach out to me. If you're thinking about downsizing, upsizing, you want to think about the seasonality and coming in and having that teed up the right way, and reach out to us. Give us a call. Rates are still very, very good overall. And I'll take a quick break right back in a second.
WRNN listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for.
How long we got?
About 5 minutes.
Okay, no last commercial.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, thank you.
Price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. Here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to or abide himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with 2 mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 5-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working ridiculous amount of home buyers looking to buy here in the Grand Strand area, anywhere in the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand area, from $250,000 to $4.4 million. If you're thinking about selling, reach out to us immediately, 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. One thing we do here, we always like to put our money where our mouth is. Been doing it for years and years and years. And one thing we do is we share how many active buyers we have. And so we mentioned earlier that inventory is down. And so one thing that we do, our business model we have that I mentioned is unique and different. It allows me to outspend the average agent 100-to-1 from a marketing standpoint. Because we have that team of specialists, we're able to have a huge marketing budget that we bring buyers in from across the country and even internationally that allow us to funnel those buyers to our properties. And that's how we sell properties faster and for more money. And here's the thing, that's what we're hired to do, right? It's not just get a property and put it in MLS. They want us to actually sell it. And we have a team of salespeople, 35 salespeople that are hustling the phones. We made per week an average of 16,000 phone calls a week to our own leads. And so we're following back up with them. And here's the deal. Active home buyers we have right now on our website that are searching. This is why we need your home or your friend's home or your cousin's home or your grandma's home, whoever it is. If you're thinking about selling, don't underprice it. Don't, don't leave money on the table. Reach out to us and at least investigate and look at what we got. Active buyers right now, 72,234 active home buyers. And 72,234 active home buyers from all over. Right now, I got Marilyn Kuchar from La Plata, Maryland. I got Tanya from Raleigh, North Carolina. I got Debbie from Lock Shill Lake, New York. I got Steve from Rock Hill, North Carolina. I got Gabriella from Philadelphia, PA. Raymond from Long Beach, New York. I got Randy from Birmingham, Alabama. Baltimore, Maryland. Willoughby, Ohio. Hilton Head, South Carolina. Brooklyn, New York. New York. Charlotte, North Carolina. Ashburn, North Carolina. Chicago, Illinois. Louisville, Kentucky. Shanahan, Illinois, all over the place, right? And so we have buyers that are looking to buy properties just like yours. Don't wait and go the old school cassette tape way. Don't wait and get some average agent who has average processes and average systems. They put it for sale sign. They try to sell. Here's the deal. We have 72,234 active buyers right now in a software that is our website. This is not like, these are actual username, password account people on our website. And so first thing we do is we match it up to our buyers. We reverse engineer the software, the school, then reverse engineer the most likely buyer for your property based on previous search patterns. And then my team calls them out and matches up buyers and sellers. And that's how we sell property faster and for more money. And so we hustle. We have a lot more intensity than what we do, as you can probably tell. And that's how we're able to push the limits and get our clients more money for their property. And so if you're listening to this, right, you're obviously somebody who's understanding this type of stuff and wants to get the most amount of money, reach out to us, give us a call. A couple quick minutes. Awesome success story. Our team's been absolutely crushing it in a difficult market. It's a lot different. We've had to double down training, up the intensity, spend a lot more in advertising because we care about results. And so big success story. John and Donna owned a home in Myrtle Beach that they were looking to sell in order to get back close to their grandchildren. They had their home listed with a friend who had it 6 months, did zero marketing, no offers. They were very frustrated, almost giving up. Thankfully, they recommended to Blake Sloan and Sloan Realty Group by an amazing radio listener. They reached out to us. We came in, identified the problem, which is marketing, kept the same exact price, designed a custom marketing plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtuality walkthrough, drove massive traffic, creating multiple offers in the first week, and sold over asking price within 7 days, which is awesome there. That's exactly what our system designed to do. Also, a different example here, Jason had an investment condo that he owned in Myrtle Beach for many years. The renters had moved out, damaged unit, where it needs some repairs. He did not feel like having rehab the property, wanted just a fair price without any hassle. Thankfully, he's referred to Blake Sloan and Sloan Realty Group. We came in, showed them there are two options. One, our investment fund can buy it from him with a fair price, close in 7 days, as is, which means he didn't do anything to it, or put it on the open market. He opted for speed and convenience and a fair price. We signed a contract, closed cash within 7 days, no repairs, no haggling, super simple and super easy. And so that's what our investment fund's able to do, and at a very, very, very fair price. And his issue is just the people had messed up the kitchen a little bit and needed some paint and some lighting and things like that. And so that's something our system can do. And so here's the thing. It's a fair price, right? You owe it to yourself to say, if I want the most amount of money, let me at least look at my options. A lot of people right now that are very desperate in this marketplace, that you're seeing less buyers, a lot of realtors overpromising that cannot deliver, but we have the systems, the processes, the track record to actually deliver. And one thing I want you to look out for right now too, a lot of these home buyers out there, I've seen a lot of people lately hear these advertisements for "we'll buy your home." These people, a lot of them aren't licensed. They're giving very, very low offers. I saw one that was being offered for a sale that's a wholesale, where they basically had locked it up $100,000 of what it's worth. They're trying to sell it right now at a discount, and it costs these homeowners potentially $100,000 of their own equity of them not knowing what they're doing. So if you want to know how it works, reach out to us, get the most amount of money, give us a call, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.